organized, configured a little bit better. Now, I try not to move my head around. The camera is a bit further back. I'll get my background sorted eventually. I'm just gonna see if the chat will come through, which it is not, but that is okay. X on Pulsechain at day 310. You might have to watch this in 2x speed. With me, maybe even 10x speed, because, you know, a little bit slow speaking sometimes. But if you can actually listen to that and follow, maybe, just maybe, it might be something that changes your life. It might not as well. It could just be something you already knew. But here we go. Basically, we've seen a little bit of a setback, a pullback. Now, I'm not sure if people had expectations of the work of others. I don't know what is going on, but I thought I would take it right back to basics. We know there was a sacrifice. The sacrifice rate is still above on Pulsechain. We know there was a sacrifice of PulseX. The sacrifice rate is under for PulseX. Now, we did see Pulse at 0.002, which was, you know, double the sac rate. We saw at that point in time, PulseX was 0.0001, which was sac rate. And we saw Ink at about 10. Now, live on a particular video I was making at the time, taking song requests, it was it hit 10. I didn't realize. And I can't remember what HEX was. HEX on Pulsechain, the HEX that runs on Pulsechain with the quickest, cheapest, fastest fees. So I'll make this one a little bit quicker than usual. Like I said, going back to basics, the best thing for me, myself, is not to forget about what is going on the HEX side, not to forget about Pulsechain holdings, PulseX holdings, INC holdings, potential LP farms. Maybe you look at some of the other platforms out there that's being built, which is okay, I guess. I mean, if it brings adoption, that's cool. But again, I'm sort of this, I don't know, I'm kind of weird. I'm stuck in my mind where I just think HEX is the best and I want to still make ladders on HEX. Therefore, what I'm actually doing, you might call me crazy, I'm going through and in my spare time doing some gig economy work and raking up some capital and injecting that capital into my favorite token. Well, I'm actually not sure what my favorite token is, you know. I mean, what does Pulsechain do? It's a fork of Ethereum. It's cheaper. It provides builders, you know, the ability to build on top of them and not wreck them with fees. You can be a validator. It has potential for huge price appreciation. Similar to PulseX, however, you can't actually build on PulseX. It is a wonderful DEX. I think it has close to the deepest liquidity. It gives you the ability to, you know, make, well, I would argue almost peer-to-peer transactions, but you can trade on it, and it has a burn function. And I could be wrong, but isn't there only so much in existence? Like, you can't mint more of it. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad. Tokenomics, things like that. Some other people might cover that more in depth, but that's basically my understanding of it. And it is, I would say, kind of undervalued as well. So there's great potential for price appreciation. Unless, of course, you think everything's going to zero and you should just emergency end stake all your shit and jump off Pulsechain forever, which in my mind would be insanity at this point in time. Because I thought, like I said, I thought delayed gratification was a thing, and I thought people would be able to wait maybe more than 310 days before freaking out and selling everything, especially on Ethereum HEX, where, you know, the actual code is the same, and just because someone in the community, although albeit the founder, points out that, you know, the HEX on Pulsechain is pretty good, you know, maybe have a look at that, because Pulsechain, anyway, I think some people know what happened, in terms of there was a tweet and there was some sort of reaction. Now, next thing, sorry, I got sidetracked. INC is kind of holding its price really well compared to, we see these smaller numbers. So maybe people like the INC tokenomics, they like the amount, the price that it currently is, and the way that you're able to earn it through providing, you know, LP on PulseX for selected farms, that is. Now, it's kind of hard to pull those three apart because they're all sort of interconnected. You see how PulseX runs on Pulsechain, and PulseX allows you to be able to provide like pairs, say between PulseX, Pulse Inc, Pulse HEX, Pulse, and even some other stables brought in from Ethereum. And say you were providing those, particular stables over there at this point in time, depending on your entry point, you might actually be basically buying Pulse up right now, whether you know it or not. So you might have more Pulse than ever. Depending on what time you entered into the space, a PulseX farm, you might have more PulseX than ever. It's just hard to say because you have different entry points. Now, the main thing I want to talk about is what I've discovered. I'm going to keep going over and over and over this because I missed out on the stream, the first stream, I think Crypto Coffee. Go and check his stuff out. He basically went through a bridge called SparkSwap, and that SparkSwap bridge allows one to be able to bridge in and bridge out through different chains. So if you understand what a bridge is, if you go through the Ethereum bridge, it's very expensive. If you go through the Arbitrum bridge, it's not as expensive. If you go through the Binance Chain bridge, it is not as expensive. Now, the total amount of fees I paid in Australian dollars is $2.73. Now, that is a huge, that is a lot cheaper than it would have been for Ethereum. I haven't checked the Gwei. Let's have a look at ETH Gwei. It's actually kind of surprisingly low. Wow. Interesting. Danken upgrade comes out. L2s come out. Fees get reduced slightly. And then Gwei drops ever so slightly. Mind you, there's also a huge pullback, so I don't know what is going on there. But potentially one could be looking at some sort of dip. And if you psychologically are able to make decisions, then maybe, just maybe, it would be a good time to capitalize on such decisions. Now, I'm not telling anyone what to do, but like I said, myself, I thought it was kind of fun to go through and buy some HEX, and buy some, specifically buy the HEX on Pulsechain. Now, what I'm actually doing, like as I said before, I'm going to go through, do some gig economy work, go through, make some purchases, and then I'll see how it all plays out. What I'm hoping is for after the end of a year, depending on the price of HEX, how this year goes, to see at least 52 different stakes in place, miners in place, amounts of HEX burnt in place, and to get to the point where I'm earning a secondary, thirdary, fourthary, fifth by means of not income, ways to create wealth whilst I sleep, basically. It's kind of boring at the moment because I'm only like week one. I spent $50, about $30 US, give or take. Fees were about $2.73 in Australian, so it's very low, like $1.50 something. Not even $2 fees in US, which is pretty good. So I should be able to maintain that rate every week. And what I'll do, instead of just buying something like HEX, because I'm really torn. I'm trying to decide which one, with amounts so small like that. People might say that, oh, you're just X liquidity, Why would you do that? Everything's dying. Something happened. Yeah, it's all right. What's happening, Tin Top? It's dying. Richard Hart's ecosphere is dead. You might see these like saboteurs in Twitter for some reason, or Twitter, X formerly Twitter, for whatever reason, I don't know. But yeah, so it's like I said, it's up to you what you do on day 310 of Pulsechain HEX moving forward. But yeah, like I said myself, I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to see how it works out. And I'm kind of excited because, like I said, I'm tempted to do it daily. However, I'm not sure because I have like other bills and stuff to pay. So I'm not extracting from crypto to pay those bills. What I'm doing, have myself set up in such a way that gig economy work provides me an extra, and the more I can earn through gig economy, I can either pay off the bills faster or I can buy more cryptocurrency. And basically, the cryptocurrency through Pulsechain, Pulsex, Inc., HEX, etc., 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 is as if it's a bonus, which is a very nice thing to do, nice position to be in. Eventually, I think what will happen, I think, based on the test net, is that I'll be able to provide LP should I manage them correctly, and I should be able to start to accrue larger amounts of INC. Well, the same amount, but start making more and more different LP farms. So basically, if you look at LP farms, there's the decision. Like I said before, you could have made one large one, you could have made or smaller ones, or you could have made it spread it across multiple wallets. So what I'm thinking about doing now, don't copy me because I don't know how this is going to work, but some other stuff I've done I think worked kind of okay. However, lessons learned, profit taking should probably move up the priority list, but I'm not, like I said, not too fast. Doing gig economy work, I'm gonna make these ladders. Tempted to make them every single day because a whole year would be very interesting to see. Because to start a miner, burn hex, stake hex, whatever you want to call it, run the code basically. If you want to run the code, it's like 0.004 cents. It's dirt cheap. And if you're locking away about $30 every day or once a week, it's, you know, and then to end the stake might be a few cents. It's not going to murder you like Ethereum side would. And there's actual users over here, not so unlike ETH, POW and ETH Fair. I don't know if they shut off the chain or what happened over there. It is going to be kind of fun again. I don't know, but like I said, you people out there may not like HEX, so it's up to you. Now, back to what I was saying with the LP funds. What you might want to do, I don't know if this is a good idea. That I haven't looked at any other like paid for courses or really have that much experience in it. But what I'm starting to think along the lines is understanding how the LPs work, and if prices are going up, then you're going to be, in essence, selling it. So if you're pairing it with something like a stable, you know, you're slowly selling it and you're going to end up with a more stable. So if you look at that, it's about a 4x. And then once you hit the 4x mark, you actually, if the other thing's not moving in tandem with it, you actually will sell all of it. So from this position, I've got some easy maths in front of me. 125, you know, times 250, double that again, 0.005. If you started an LP farm right now, pair that with something like USDC, DAI, USDT, then if Pulsechain hits that amount, you would have sold all of your, you know, assuming it doesn't come back down, you would have sold all of your Pulse, in theory. But then you'd be holding DAI, so you would have accepted that you were going to make that purchase. And that is that story. Now, the opposite is true. Imagine if the price did hit 0.0005 and then it pulled all the way back to 0.00125, you would have bought a lot of Pulse and no longer be holding that stable. So I don't know if that's positive for you or negative, but what I'm seeing is some interesting sideways action especially for LP providing. Now, I did jump into the LP late because I was concerned about when the fork took place. Was it May 10th? Basically, I was concerned about ratios. I didn't want to engage with them just in case I fucked it up. Excuse my language. And also, I did not want to, for whatever reason, I had this gut feeling, do nothing, just sit on it and wait, which I did. Weeks, days and days and days went past. Then I basically eventually did a little test transaction, tested to see if the airdrop was there. It was. Prior to that, I had everything set up, like cold storage, etc., 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 and operational security, things like that. Like how are we going to store it? Where are you going to store it? What are you going to do with it once you get it? I took the option of doing very little. I, from memory, I think I let it all sit there for ages and just sat there and did nothing. But because I did that, I didn't experience. So when we saw ink at $80, I wasn't getting much of it because I didn't want to lock in Pulse when it was like a 3, 4, 5x. Can't remember what it was. Um, Pulse or Hex. But yeah, so that was why I did not do that, because I felt that it may fall back and retrace, and I wanted to see how things settled. I let time lapse, and then I decided to enter into the LPs ever so cautiously because I was very concerned I could get fucked by other entities in the space who know a lot more about LP providing, because it can be, there is risk involved due to impermanent loss. However, the farms yield are extremely high, I would say, and surprisingly stable, because that's what I wanted to watch, how the yields went from thousands and thousands and thousands all the way down to still some decent ones are like over 100%, which is absolutely amazing and will crush everything else in this sector. Assuming you want to take on impermanent loss risk with some of the pools, because if you have a look at things like the PLSX pool, they might have performed differently. And I'm starting to think having, so the problem with having multiple LP pools across multiple wallets in multiple places, if you want to actually move them, you have to like physically press buttons, right? And say there's an event and it's all happening very fast. If you had one big pool, it would be very easy to carry out one transaction, as opposed to having 1, 2, 3, and on and on and on. However, if you have multiple pools and they all have different time entries, yes, price entries and time entries, or as long as you're keeping track of it, it might be worth doing, because you can then, but this is just me anyway, I'm not you guys doing or anyone else doing in this space, but this applies to anything. This applies to every other decks out there that's reasonably stable, but I personally don't engage with them because of some of the fees. However, the ones that aren't so wrecked, they are, you might look at them maybe, but things like myself, Pulsechain, with the fees the way they are, and day literally 310 over L1, it would not surprise me if from this point in time, over the long term horizon, the price does increase. Short term, yeah, we're going to see some volatility, but define short term. Short term could be tomorrow, short term could be 30 days, short term could be 3 months, 6 months, who knows. But what was it going with that? LP pools, different ones. So when the multipliers came out, some people got like really good multipliers, and those multipliers, if you were able to get them, you basically got even more free shit. So that free shit you were able to play with, right? And then do what you want with that. So that was an LP position I created basically from those two, because I'm pretty sure I got some free shit for Pulse and Pulse X. So looking back, did you watch? Oh, that's kind of cool. Rich says he's working hard. How do they know? Did you watch? That, yeah, well, yeah, that would be kind of cool if that is happening. It would explain to an extent why everything has been so stable in terms of the high yields, in terms of the yield farms performing absolutely amazing. Because I can't see how, I think this has been said many times before, if someone had huge amounts of capital just to inject it in, current trends, current market behaviorals suggest that you inject large amounts of capital, for some reason every man and their dog just starts to extract. Maybe there's a few exceptions to that, like people were locked up and things like that, but with the yeah, this will go on like a tangent, so I just won't go there. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, to me that's what it appears like. I haven't done the on-chain data, but when the pumpage stops, for lack of a better term, the pumpage, um, the price decreases, and all the Twitter likes, X likes, video YouTubes, myself included, won't do shit unless there's actual like capital purchasing. Now that sounds like, oh, it's a Ponzi. It's like, no, if you have a fucking business and no one's coming to your shop to buy shit, then you're not going to be making any sales, and that'll suck for revenue. Now, there's other aspects, but you know, like, is that your only revenue? Anyway, that's cool though. You know, should I agree with that last bit. You know, this is almost, you could look at it. You could look at it like it is a huge dip and there's a fire sale. Like that's why the other day I decided to start doing this, because I thought, well, this is a perfect time. Do this time frame, say next 12 months, next 52 weeks at minimum, make small purchases in HEX. Instead of sitting on the Pulsechain HEX and just doing nothing with it, seeing the potential price appreciation take place, as well as the yield from it, and then as well as once it starts to compound. So I'm thinking along the lines of, once you hit about 10, right, then you've gone from like 20, 30 bucks, which doesn't seem like much at all, and barely paying like $1 at the end of like depending how long I chuck them out for. I'm going to do them like shorter term, and then basically when the early ones start ending, I can start compounding them on top of each other, and they start becoming larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. And it can get to the point where it becomes almost, if it's not your only primary source, and this is some extra amount that you're sort of saving for a rainy day, then it could get to the point where it far exceeds your any expectations that you might have of it going up, for instance. Because if you're purchasing something, generally you think it's a good buy. You think, you know, oh, this might be a collectible, might go up in value. That's my personal take on it, and that's what I'm going to sort of go through, do this, and yeah, see how it goes. But the what's it called? Shh! Everyone stop! I fucking wallets. No, I'm kidding. So Chain says he's pulling money off Ether Maker. Dude, and that's cool. I haven't seen the chain analysis. And if someone's doing that out there, that's awesome. If we all did that, imagine what it would be like. It would be income on income on income on income. But maybe those sort of larger moves is for like larger players. Like I said, me doing Uber, it's going to be kind of hard to become a Poseidon on HEX, unless I went over to maybe EHEX, and then I'll get wrecked by ETH fees, because like I said, this scenario does not work over on Ethereum. If I spend 28, well, everyone knows this already, but if you're new, this does not work, right? If for whatever reason you're watching this and you're not already interested in HEX, in INC token, PulseX, PLS, Pulsechain, I'm not sure why you'd be here, but welcome. But if on Ethereum I was putting away, like I was bridging in for $2.73 Australian, the fee to start off with would be higher. And then by the time it comes to actually purchase any HEX, the amount of fees from moving from Ethereum across the bridge into Pulsechain, I would have ended up with a fraction. It could have been, I had $50. I spent, you know, $48 on fees and had $2 to play around with Pulsechain. I was like, that's not a very good proposition for anyone. So let's buy a scratchy ticket, right? And you might get something out of it. That's almost what it feels like, as opposed to, I don't know. Let's, you know, let's collect some bottles and you'll be guaranteed a small amount, but you know, it's guaranteed. I know they're awful fucking analogies, but yeah, ETH is just, well, okay, so L2, I don't know if it's because the huge dip, price decreasing and Gwei decreasing, but I don't know, like it's funny that L2 upgrade kicks in, all of a sudden, you know, maybe people are like, well, L2s are better than ETH. And like myself, I discovered Arbiter. I'm like, oh, okay, this shit you can like bridge across for a fraction of the cost, and it defeats the purpose of anything else. But for the purposes of creating these ladders through Pulsechain, Pulsechain just destroys. And like I said, since we've been talking here on this stream, Pulse X is like 0.000555. That's kind of cool. If only there was one more decimal, maybe it was 5555. But yeah, I wouldn't mind this shit. This sounds bad, but I wouldn't mind this shit just ranging. You know, like imagine it going just up and down, ranging, farming the LP. Somehow, this is what maybe you were alluding to before, where it appears as if there's like just a well-designed product, and it is able to increase the price of things like INC, and then Hex just does its thing naturally, and then the yields are just still providing. You know, it's just almost infinite abundance. Like that song someone requested, they're never going to be broke, because basically this perpetual source of infinite energy is bestowed upon us all, which is much appreciated from my end, because like I said, I seriously think these small amounts I can chuck in to Hex on Pulsechain is going to add up to something sizable. And if and it's a big if, Pulsechain maintains and just sideways moves, if it moons hard as fuck, it moons hard as fuck. But if Hex moons hard as fuck, these particular staking ladders that one sets up now with smaller amounts could end up being something very sizable. And at that point, assuming you take into account all your business, like taxes you might have to pay in your jurisdictions and things like that, then you have some free money, and then you can decide what do you want to buy. And if Pulsechain is still cheap, maybe you buy Pulsechain. If PulseX is still cheap, you think maybe you buy PulseX. You know, it depends on your point of entry. Now, back to what I was saying with the LPs. The point of entry is interesting, and creating multiple wallets I think is interesting. X is by itself interesting, and I think the next decent farm people could look at, like, well, assuming they haven't got other basic farms in place, like the ones like on test network, just purely Pulse and PulseX, which were of the all the yield is lowest. Maybe that's because the risk is lower compared to others. I think personally it's a toss up between, to me, the Pulse and Ethereum farms, because Ethereum could do what now, and Pulse could do what now, and how is it going to perform if the talk of Ethereum ETFs come out and Ethereum pumps hard as fuck, and then it's like, oh no, I've got all this Pulsechain now. Boo hoo, is, you know what I mean? The same with Hex. It's like, oh no, Pulsechain's pumping hard as fuck. I've got all this Hex now. Oh no, what am I gonna do with it? Oh, I can just burn it, get more of it. I say, oh no, Hex pumped hard as fuck. Well, it's I'm finding it very difficult for lose situations. Now, I should be careful with my words, because you could lose if you suffer impermanent loss and you're not earning larger amounts. For instance, with the single stables, if you're not, you want to hold on to your pulse, and then you don't want to lose it. If that's your objective, then maybe you don't want to look at those farms. But then at the same time, they're providing so much yield, you could actually potentially, I'm not sure, I'm testing around myself, have some spreadsheets to keep track of everything, and basically you could provide LP through the stables, rip out the INC, depending on your business, your jurisdiction, how much tax you have to pay, and then decide whether or not you want to either just purely buy more Pulse and stack Pulse and then get back your positions, stack Pulse X if you, like myself, hit, I think it was about 100, no, day 200 or something, and I was like, nah, fuck this. Pulse X is just wrecked at the moment, and my intentions purely for Pulse X was purely dumping. I thought maybe Pulse X was going to pump harder, because I thought Pulsechain might have pumped harder a little bit earlier on. I saw the performance and go, okay, it doesn't appear like it's going to be doing anything anytime soon, which is fine. So my plan was to basically, if I was gonna sell anything, Pulse X was gonna be my first sell. I didn't even think about Ink, to be honest. Hex is just Hex, and I was like, eventually some of these stakes are gonna be worth a lot. I think in the future. That's why I have these ladders all the way out 15 years, and like recurring 15-year ones. So like keep chucking them out. Some. Pulsechain, I figured I'm not gonna like. I literally was not gonna touch it for like a long time. I thought, well, why sacrifice for the, you know, not for the noble thoughts, but why not get something for doing something like Ink? I'm like, well, Ink's looking pretty good. I've seen how it's performed. I've seen the huge upside to what, $80, which is crazy. At that time as well, there was like hundreds, thousands APY, I forget. But basically, the number was quite large, and it's pulled back, and I just thought it's going to go down to lower amounts. It didn't, and I was in shock and awe, and I'm extremely impressed. I don't know how the fuck it's doing it, but it's amazing. So that's why I slowly deployed LP, because I thought, well, if I'm going to do anything, it's either going to be provider validator, which I was very close to doing. However, I did not want to outlay capital for the machinery and have to run through. And my biggest issue, it's probably not a big issue, but I was just thinking of the cybersecurity aspect. I'll leave it to the guys that know better. Also, what else? I didn't really want to have to manage it full time. And so I thought, well, I'll go down the LP farming route. I did that, and I've been cautiously deploying LP across multiple wallets, because then I can keep track. It's annoying though, because by the time I write down my spreadsheet, I don't know why I did this. By the time I write down my spreadsheet, the numbers upgrade, because basically, if you write a spreadsheet, maybe you keep the price, maybe you do it at the same time of the day, I don't know, but at least once a day, but don't do it like, you know, midnight and then fucking 1 minute past midnight, because may lose its context. But if you did it around the same time of day, basically what I've been doing, going through writing if I remember the initial amount that you put in for your LP. So if you were to do it now, you'd provide 0.000125 pulse. So you put one pulse, then you put like one pulse, and the farm is pulse X, and then you had the relevant matching for 1 cent of pulse and then 1 cent of PLSX. Write down how many tokens you have of either. Maybe you look at the dollar value, but basically I'm looking at the ratios myself, and then do it the next day, the next day, the next day. And then as I've been watching the prices move, I didn't track it from, I could try and go back and get the data. Potentially you can go back and get the data from the charts on GoPulse, just pull it from day one, and you can see how the ratios have been moving, what the trend appears to be, and even from the higher amounts of you know, 2x SAC just a few weeks ago, not even like, within the same month, it's gone from 2x SAC down to 1.25 SAC, and LP is just sort of fluctuating. And it's really interesting to watch. And this is the stuff I never used to look at before HEX. I used to look at purely like, you know, Litecoin or some shit, or like Bitcoin or something, or Ethereum. I had no concept. I guess it was new to everyone as well. No real concept about DeFi, DEXs, and LP providing, because without the LP, what can you do? If there was, say for instance, there was no LP on HEX, then you would be looking at a token that you could bridge over to Pulsechain, which there probably would be LP, but you'd be looking at a token which could have, you know, everything going for it. However, because there's no LP, there's no real way to trade on that particular DEX on Ethereum. Not to mention the fees, you know. But I found that I found that pretty fascinating. So that's probably better for me to learn about that sort of stuff, as well as the tax side, but as well as learning about that, as opposed to going down the validator route, because that's just like sort of a flat rate. Arguably, that's less risky that to LP providing, but then you have to compare your risk tolerance, I would say. Basically, I had, you know, do you want to risk impermanent loss? Yes or no? If you want to risk impermanent loss, proceed. If not, don't touch it. But then it's like, do you want to then also risk not earning something like ink and just sitting on Pulse and Pulsechains? It's like saying it's similar in a way to saying, well, do you want to just sit on Hex and not actually ever figure out how to burn it, mint it, mine it, and get more of it later on for the amount you bought? Yeah, to me it makes sense to basically lock it away, and at the end of it, even though it's a smaller amount, if I keep doing that, I'll end up with more and more and more and more Hex, which is cool. And then you start looking at the things like T-shares, So then once you go, okay, I'm getting more and more Hex, this is cool. How am I doing this? Oh, so the T-share function. Oh, maybe I want to start looking at more T-shares. How to get more T-shares? And then you can start building these small ladders. And this is what I haven't been doing. I got to practice what I preach here. So I'm going to do it. It's going to be fun. I'm going to fucking love it. And I'm going to basically make these small ones, roll, like infinite term deposits that come through, and then maybe double the length, getting more T-shares. And then once they start rolling, more. And then because I can do this on Pulsechain, it's going to be fucking awesome. Ooh. I saw something interesting yesterday. 1p wrap BTC. Yeah, I don't know how that's all gonna play out. I mean, if it's like parity through very slow, tedious, meticulous, I don't know what you call it, LP providing, ratio trading, or mocking, because it's a fork, which is doing the exact same shit over on the other chain in the same way. Could be possible. The question would be, I've always thought for that particular topic, like, can you get we saw it's possible. We saw, well, through LP, we saw it's possible for the P side, the HEX, to hit parity and then, far surpass the Ethereum side copy of Pulsechain, like I guess you could call it. And not confusing at all. But yeah, that would be something else if something like Maker and its functions and all that could come over, to be able to bring about a ratio parity and then slowly ratchet it up. I guess continue doing what you're doing, slowly ratchet it up, and then you could see parity. Don't know, you should have to withdraw from the actual Ethereum side over, or if people could just mimic over on this side what's taking place. That's why I think it's interesting with the HEX side, what's going on. Oh, dude, nice. Yeah, see, again, that's like the next thing. Like I was looking at that, like I said, the where was it? Oh, all the different bots. They might be different again, but like they were talking about on the Ethereum side, they've got those issues with the hey DJ Cryptomatic, what's happening? The MEV side on Ethereum is like sandwiching, front running, back running, reordering transactions, reorgs, and time bad attacks for some of them. And I was like looking up, I'm like trying to look it up, and then the AI is like, you can only use this information for good, basically. And I was like, I thought I wanted to create one, but I was like, it'd be good to learn how it's doing that and to like some vulnerabilities, basically. I would say, because it's people that have more knowledge could game the system in their favor, and hopefully we've got some protections over here on Pulsechain. And if that was the case, then you'd have protections as well as them being able to not game the system, then be able to make it function, and like recreate the same shit because it's from the same shit. I should put it more eloquently, but that's just my thoughts based on my knowledge. Yeah, what else? Yeah, parody on the PDAs would be interesting. I personally want to see some more on. I'm waiting for the Co stuff to come back because, I don't know. You have to pay the exchange rate fees here in Australia, So they might be more than, like I said, this like a $2.73 Australian I paid to get a very small amount over onto Pulsechain and then buy some hex and then create some stakes to create some miners, burn some, run the code basically. Um, the if I increased it by 2x or 10x, it's not going to increase the fees by 2x 10x. The fees will be exactly the same. But if I go over through Coast, the exchange rate, like dealing with the exchange rate, sometimes is like you have to do it. It costs money. It might be more than that $2.73. So for me, it might actually be better to on ramp through these different bridges through Spark Swap is the main one I'm using at the moment. I think there's another one. There might be even another one, but yeah, just ETH is just unusable. It's just several years and maybe they fix their shit. I mean, it's a bit better now. I haven't seen it this low for a long time. It got down to low as, oh no, I was looking at L. I was like, oh my god, like two, wait, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh, yeah, it got down to 30, so that's pretty impressive. So maybe, just maybe, there is hope for people over on the Ethereum side. If these don't, get to like plus 100 and shit like that, maybe you can still exit if there's still liquidity over there. That was, I don't know what that was, man. And we, man, like, there was, so a tweet goes out saying, did you know XYZ? And then the criticism is because someone shouldn't have said that. And then it's like, but why would someone react to stuff that's going on off of a tweet when they already knew that? It's very strange. And then I guess, does that mean people are like insanely focused on their own personal profits? That's why they would put their personal profits over something that could provide for everyone. Now that's very, sounds almost like fucking communism or socialism or some shit. It's like, no, everyone, no matter what, everyone gets the same. It's like, no, I'm just saying, like, if everyone wants HEX to succeed, you'd maybe provide LP somewhere, or you'd engage with it the way you want it to work. And then Ethereum comes along, and then the gatekeeping comes along, and then then everyone calls it a fucking scam, and then 4 years later it's like, no, HEX is chill now. It's like, yeah, you could have fucking, not you guys in the chat, but like, I'm just talking in general, like everyone who was gatekeeping, who now does not call it a scam, they could have done that from the beginning. But no, what did they do? We're still getting kept on the various coin ranking sites if anyone even uses them. But yeah, it's definitely a buying, I would call it a buying opportunity right now for I don't know so much about HEX on Ethereum because of the gas fees, because logically, unless you're buying large amounts and if the LP is not there, it may not be, profitable to do so. And if you're looking after your own bags, which everyone should, everyone should look after their own bags, but I'm just saying, if people hear and misinterpret some information from anywhere and all of a sudden start ripping LP and emergency end staking their shit, I thought the point of HEX was to, in some cases 555 and create staking ladders and only emergency end stake if it was an actual emergency, which is the whole point of it. And if not, you lose out on all your shit. And if you don't do what you say you would do, you get penalized. And everyone got penalized. And I'm like, what is going on? Ooh, what's this? Rubik exchange. What's a Rubik exchange off F? But yeah, but that's why I made that stream. I was like, because literally I want some of them I might just purely burn, unless they are profitable to end, which they might be. But then I'm seriously contemplating, because like they're smaller ones, like I said, and they're smaller, longer ones, so it may be to the point where I could, like I said, bridge over for $2.73, an amount that I would potentially use on Ethereum to end a stake, and I could just buy. I could even just go over onto the Pulse X side and purchase some EHEX on there if I wanted to. I could also just as easily buy some HEX on Pulsechain and then actually on Pulsechain use it what it was meant to be for. And I could add to these little ladders that I'm gonna start setting up through gig economy work because I feel bored. I feel the need to do so, and it keeps me going. And like I said, eventually I might earn surplus and have plentiful and hit that abundance rate when some of the stakes end on HEX, and then maybe once the LP positions start getting larger, and then I could get to the point where I'm in like a literal an abundance position, which I hope everyone does get to. Some people might be already there. Some people might have way surpassed it and be already there. But some people might have just entered into the system and had a fucking horrible experience and been like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." And it's like kind of, I don't think those people are streaming. I don't think those people are getting up, making random videos about, how their experience is going, except for saying maybe this shit's wrecked or maybe they just ignore it. They don't really want to expose themselves about it, which is a shame because I do think, as many of us do, I do think this will be able to provide some level of freedom, depending on, I guess, equal to the amount you put in, equal and opposite to the amount you put in, I would say. Whoa, I like the sound of that. Cross chain swap. Which one's that? Is that the name of the exchange? Rubik Exchange? Pulsechain on off ramp. Oh, I like that. I want some more on ramps because off ramps are like, there's the bridge. There's some other bridges as well, but that's fine. But I think on ramps, basically you just yeah. But see, the thing is about change now, right? And the ones that were using that, this is my criticism, constructive criticism. It's the spread was just fucked. Like it's like, okay, you have $1, I'll give you $1. I'll give you $1. You give me back like 50 cents. I'm like that sucks, right? And then I think it gets. I can't remember if it got better or worse. Like if you give him $1 million, I'll give you back $500,000. Was like if you give him $1 million, I give you back 999,999 or something. I don't know, but I remember there was caps on them, and that's why I don't like using change now. I always get change now and changely confused. I like the functionality of it, but like my only criticism is the spread is not good compared to. Okay, yes, I didn't know that. But yeah, I do like. Basically, it would be good to see exchanges on off ramps. I guess one good example is Coast when they're using direct fiat and you're only copying the spread between the exchange rate, which is a necessary evil, I would imagine, unless you are able to find a better exchange rate, create an account over in that country and send it that way, which possibly could. I can think of a few ways, like legally, obviously, but then also at the moment it does appear. I hate this. It just I've been like $2.73 through fucking Binance Smart Chain of all places. I'm like, dude, that's the pretty decent spread. Like, well, not spread, but that's like a pretty decent fee. And that would be for, like I said, for $500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000, 5 million. That's how much the fee would be. The funny thing, I saw a funny thing on Binance Smart Chain. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Maybe I was just looking at a bad time. And it was just a wreck spread. There wasn't much liquidity between the pairs. Yeah, Arbitrum's another one. It's like that shit is pretty good. It just like it depends on what I was going through having to check some of centralized exchange points that I enter through, and some of them actually didn't have a lot of functions as other ones, and even other ones that I thought had more functions didn't have like this. I was like, what the fuck is it? Just depends on how the centralized exchanges are running, you know. Is that a good spread? 100 Arbitrum USD gets. I guess you go have a look. I'm not sure if I'm hooked. Hang on. Have a look. But yeah, see, I could use that Proteus thing, but I'm just sort of, I've seen a spread before on Proteus. It was actually worse than what was on Pulsex, and I just killed the talking point where it gives you the the best spread. I was like, the fuck? It, mind you, it could have been because of it was a sort of a weird like liquidity amount I was requesting because it was only smaller amounts. So if we go 100, say die. Yeah, as I was saying before, when I was doing a swap over on Pancake Swap, the funniest thing happened. Basically, basically I was able to get a net positive spread between two stables. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, I'll take that. So what does it change now? 1.29 milli. We can round up to 1.3 milli pulse. We'll just see if this pulse X pulls it. So I wonder if this is also, I guess what you can see on screen is the go pulse. I wonder if this is the quote unquote bottom, or we might see a little bit more pain, so to speak. Oh, hang on, wait, that was so Pulse X is showing a stable $100 gets you 794,000 pulse. Then over on here, 100. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Alright, I'll check that out. Arbitrum. So USDC. I have to make sure I get through the right exchange that offers USDC not only on, say, Binance Smart Chain, but on Arbitrum as well. Sometimes they don't, but then they let you drop it into their account to sell it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So USDC 129. That's the sunset. Oh my god, what is that change? Change now, yeah? Alright, change now. Maybe I have to up it a bit and do the instead of doing a smaller amounts, I'll do a little bit higher. So if that would be, I'm guessing, exchange swap USDC. There we go, USDC. See, I don't even use this, like, I'm guessing USDC Arbitrum. Okay, so USDC Tron, Poly, Solana, AVAX, Stellar. What the fuck? See, this is crazy, right? This is how long I have been away from cryptocurrency. I've come back and I'm when these multi-chain like I didn't know half of this shit that you could just go and get USDC and then decide what chain to run it on, load in the RPC settings like with Pulsechain. Do an arb. Different though. Mine's pulling different. Hang on, is that USDC? Are you seeing? So, can you see? You can see that though. Mine's only saying 761, which is actually not too bad relative to what you could get on, say, Pulsechain, the USDC. Oh, what was I gonna say? So I was on PulseX and I had a look at one of the tokens. I can't remember which one it was, and I had to check on. So I took the contract address, dropped it into PulseX, looked for LP, and the whole thing went black and crashed out. It was really strange. Not sure what that was. I think it was. Anyway, so back to here, we've got. So PulseX is 7926, so it's better on PulseX, but this is Ethereum USDC, so you have to cut the fees. But if you want to step around that, you could make up for the fees and then lose like 20,000 Pulse, which is equivalent of like fuck all. $3. Ooh, okay, $3.50. And then, huh. All right, so I'll stop shitting on change now because, like I said, last time I checked it was wrecked. This time it's like it's doable. All right, cool. Check that out one day. Change now. If it lets me. Where's Arbitrum? Well, hopefully those pairs hold because that's good. That's what I like to see, you know, like the deeper liquidity across multiple chains, allowing everything to interact with each other, which maybe just maybe will allow for this, you know, pegging to happen over time as little flows both ways, you know, fills up both the streams. Huh, that's not bad. And I wish I could see that. Yeah, I wish I saw that 1.2 million. That would have been nice. 1.2 would have been 1.29 really. 3, not 12. Ooh. Ooh. 1.2 would have been alright. These little games. I guess you could sit around and do this all day as well. I never thought about doing that. So potatoes. Okay, so potatoes does give you a better rate. 8,000. Yeah, okay, it does. Oh, okay, so that's what we got. I guess bots are good. I guess, does it depend who's running the bots? Like, does the bots just enrich whoever runs them? Not sure. Yeah, that's crazy. Hmm. Yeah, don't know if I want to do that one on stream. I was looking at, I think it was Binance USDC from a bridge token, and I was like trying to see if there was LP pools, but now I think about it, it's probably because like that coin didn't exist, and basically PulseX just blacked out on me. And then the other day I was actually trying to when the prices were moving heavily downwards, I was trying to basically get some of the INC, drop it into some farms to capitalize on any movements either way, so instead of just sort of sitting on it, moving it to stable and hoping that doesn't go back up, because it might have. Was my thoughts. Well, I'll put in some pools, you know, you can, just see what happens, and then either way, you can't really lose based on the fees too hard. Yeah, it was weird, man. Like I went through and it went to like, if you can imagine PulseX, you know, you go to that screen, it says you know, it shows you the swap, the figures, and the amount, etc. And you click okay swap, and then the next screen came up and it was this weird like matrix glitch. I was like, the fuck? So I just moved it, different wallet, and fucking was able to do it on that wallet. So I was like, I don't know what happened there, man. Very strange. Very, very strange. Ah. Oh, so it just like displayed wrong. Huh. How the fuck is it even how does that even happen? That's crazy. Glitchy Oracle. Actually able to buy. Oh, okay. I guess you just check on chain what actually took place. It would have been 60 discrepancy. Ooh. Huh, interesting. Well, then that makes more sense than the, you know, it's closer to Pulse X. Yeah, yeah, man. No, I saw, I don't know if it's glitchy or like you said, the R bots or just the opportunities that are there. I was trading, I was looking to trade just like to swap some coins. I think it was Pulse and Hex or something. And it was the strangest fucking thing because I was like, it was like say $100 of Pulse, and then you get $101 of Hex. I looked at it and I'm like, wait, did I just see that? And then I took the opportunity. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Like, it's pretty cool. But then by the time I left it, I hesitated, and like you said, it refreshed, and then it's like it recalibrated to make it, I don't know, more sense or something, and it went actually back under. So I was like, huh. But it's not the first time I saw it, because like I said, I saw it again on Binance like just before. It was like an arbitrage between stables. I think it was USDC and Binance DAI. I was like, you put in $1 and get out 101. You know how they like fluctuate slightly? True, true. Maybe it's just decimal issues. No. I got no real, like I said, it was just weird noticing that on Pulsechain. I was gonna screen dump and stuff, but I was like, it's just a head fuck to move images. Um, but yeah. But yeah, I'm waiting for this bloodshed further. I personally don't think, maybe it could, but I don't think Pulse has gone much lower than this. Like, I can't see the incentive for people to push it much lower unless they've got some like real low LP farms and they're trying to get it back into range or something. But it could just be WoW games. Who knows? If anything, it's you got a stable LP pair right now. You're buying Pulse, and you have the opportunity to take out and get all your Pulse and maybe potentially have more Pulse than you ever had before. Or, like I said, I think my objective is to use INC. I could hoard it, but I figured if I hoard it and it goes up fucking insanely, um, which is good, but by the time it goes up insanely, Pulsechain itself could also go up a little bit, and I might be out of position. Therefore, my logic, could be wrong, is to take it, uh, not dump it, but swap it over to things I like, Pulsex, HEX, maybe sell some of it for, my jurisdiction's tax purposes, depending on also other things like income brackets and shit like that. And yeah, like, yeah. My thought was, I'm thinking that could make up over, let's say, a whole year you did that, you might get an okay amount of pulse, and if the price does move and you don't manage your farms, or you get a bit lazy and just let them run, see how it goes, then that, at least that way you're sort of hedged, like you have more ink, and then it's like, okay, you then decide, do you want to just hold the ink, will probably go up, could go down, or you want to swap that over the pulse, which could go up, could go down. It's sort of like, it's like that conundrum, or you get a house now, or you don't get a house, but then by the time you wait for it, the price has gone so fucking hard. It's like you could have just got it back then, and due to the inflation, you could have been in a very similar position now, or a potentially better position, because the price, like, I don't know where you guys are, but the price of houses have gone from what they were to what they are now. It's a lot, and if you had to wait until now to try and get the deposit, it would have been like, what the fuck, because it's like so much more now. That's what I found personally, in the real world stuff, not in the crypto. But yeah, very cool, very cool. What else? What else has happened to people? Ooh. Yeah, that is a good point also. Um, there's some cross-chain ARBs opportunity on HEX, PulseX, because of the volatility. I don't expect to bridge back and forth at profit. You just hodl on another chain until you can bridge later. Ooh. Have you got any examples of? No, I'm kidding. So how would that work? If you don't expect to bridge back and forth at profit. Oh yeah, so like you couldn't just sort of, I'm gonna send 100 back and forth and get like 1 cent every time. Is it maybe you'll move it and then sit on it, see an opportunity, move it across, and then get a little bit of, is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't move enough, and I'm sort of not abandoning Ethereum because I've still got EHEX, and I'm going to be monitoring if worth it. But it will get to the point where I'll go, well, it might be more profitable in the long run to use that Ethereum on, like, say, Arbitrum, things like that, chuck it across, and like on USDC, just fund enough Arbitrum to move it around and get it over onto Pulsechain. And then if I wanted EHEX, just sit on that, wait on it, and then if EHEX like recovers back to what it was pre the apocalyptic fucking drama that took place, and then you could bridge it back over. Ethereum fees would still be shit, but then you would have made a bit of profit on EHEX potentially. I would imagine. I don't know. Um, that's my thoughts on it. But yeah, our internet money is better than their internet money. It's crazy, right? Yeah, I'm fascinated with change now though. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was. that would be interesting. You could just sit and wait and watch, and then if you see the um prices move in a certain way, it's like all going up, 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 and then there's like a bit of delay. I guess you could sit on it and wait potentially. I'm not that good though. I haven't looked at that. Yeah, I was fascinated. I was just like in shock with the arb opportunities with the stables on, like, on the other chain with stables. I was like, so if I had more money, good point. I should go check on chain if I actually made a little mini profit there. If I did though, I didn't get wrecked by the arb bots. That would be interesting. Moving larger amounts. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. Once everyone does it, everyone's it. That's my thoughts. And then when the bots know, everyone knows. If I can sniff out all the algorithms. Waves kicking up. Spark Swap still doing its thing. Yeah, I don't think. I think in 3 weeks from now we could see back to where we were, like Pulse, fucking at double stack. Pulse X looking good, INC looking good, and it's recovered slightly, maybe on both chains, and everyone will be happy again. It's crazy. It's like the emotions of the of people based on the price. And I really thought, honestly thought that we knew different, and it's like we had delayed gratification and ability to lock away, and now we have the ability to do it on Pulsechain. Like I said, with this, like in my case, small ladders with small amounts and paying small minimal fees because there's infrastructure in place to be able to move it around from from even centralized exchanges in all the KYC and everything, all compliant. Um, and then also, like, if you can move it in, as long as you can move it out, which you can, everything's looking really amazing. And I saw some other stuff online with something about a credit card was only limited to US and Canada. I'm not sure if it was on ramp. I assume though if it's off ramp, it would be on ramp, but off ramp would suck only. It's like, here we have a way to just sell all your shit only. It's like, so who are you selling it to? Are they buying it or something? Maybe that's the entry point. They are front running pirates. Ooh. So it's like battle against the machine kind of at the moment, I guess. Yeah, I don't know how it works. I don't know how the mempools work. And our bots. I got like, I should probably look into it maybe, but like, can I really do anything? Maybe I can. Maybe I discover something. But um, I think what's it called? Like I said, the thing that I think I can help with, I personally think I can help with, is just engaging with the system, and because I choose to for free, no one pays me. Trust me. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing Uber to or gig economy to get money. I still might. And then making like little stakes, creating these little stakes cheaply on Pulse Chain, bridging in cheaply, making, like I said, I can see a dream. I know how to explain, I can envision it. So if you see small stakes that stack on top of each other, they start overlapping. Once they're overlapping, you can like migrate them into a larger stake, and they start overlapping, you migrate them into larger stakes, and then you have this sort of, not infinite, but you have this ongoing ladder of newly minted hex. You then decide what you want to do with it. I'm still unsure of the metric or what time frames to use. If I'm always using, say, X amount of days, and then how to ratchet it up slowly without feeling the effect of a lag. Because had I been able to do this from the beginning on Ethereum, maybe some people wanted to do this. It would have been something else. It would have been really, really cool. Because I remember I was doing, this was ages ago, talking about our bots. It's kind of the same, kind of not, but I don't know how the fuck I did it. So when you're trading Forex, I use trading very loosely. It's like if CFDs, so it's like barely, it's like, oh, you leverage it like some insane amount. And basically you could go long and go short at the same time. And what I was able to visually watch the fucking bots do their thing. And if you have, I'm not sure if my camera's frozen. Oh, no, it's okay. And if you actually go through and watch the chart, you know, like it moves up and down or up and down. So I can't remember what I did, but I enabled a function, and I was able to turn on both buy and sells, so it could net each other out. So technically, it goes up 10, goes down 10, it's still net 0. And I'm like, okay, there's got to be a way to beat this. So I was able to sit there one day, and I was just like in the zone, and basically it was, I don't remember what I did. It was like the opposite of what I thought I should do. And as I was doing it, the trades were coming through, and say it would go up, I was doing the particular move, whether it was buy or sell, can't remember. And then as I was going down, the same thing applied. And basically what it was doing to my account, the running balance, it just kept fucking growing. And I was like, what the fuck? And then something happened. I can't remember what happened. It like something didn't like it. It just like scam wicked up and down real hard, and it went back to the sort of mean. And then I was like trying to do it again, and I could not do it. And I think what happened, I think this could be crazy conspiracy. I think what happened was I was doing that, and as I was doing that, like the bot was probably learning what I was doing and emulating it, and counter doing it quicker than I could do it. It was fucking insane. I wish I took wish I filmed what I was doing. But yeah, that's completely irrelevant. But it was something else. You should have seen it. It's like, fuck. I was thinking, imagine if you had huge amounts of money and you're just doing that. That would be crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. I still remember that. And I'm thinking, imagine, so the reason I say that is like, imagine if bots were able to do that with crypto. They could just take into account all the trades and then just be able to, you know, make infinite money off of it. That'd be crazy. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. I think we're slowly ticking up, people. Like I said, well, I think along the lines of, I don't. It's hard to say. It's cool to have followers and all of that on Twitter, X, and shit like that. It's cool. All that stuff's nice, but I don't think that matters as much as it matters a lot. But I don't think it matters as much as price goes up. If price goes up, and there's a few people on X and Twitter, but a lot of people, it's unfortunate that no one can call the future 100%. And then if you try and do it, maybe you get some right. But the problem is, you want the price go up. And no matter what people say, you can try and create some fluff and hype, whatever. But if it's bullshit, it's going to be bullshit, right? So I can sit here and say whatever the fuck I want. No one knows if it's true or not. But then if you look on chain, you can tell. If you look on, if you dox yourself, maybe you can tell. But you know what I mean? Like, you can't speak on behalf of someone else, or you can't like, this is what's taking place, unless you actually know that's what's taking place. It's hard to say. So that's why I thought, well, I think I should. I want to create these little ladders and basically turn something small into something large. And then if that's something large that is worth more, then I win, you know? And it's like, oh, but then you have to sell and then you like dump on everyone's heads. Well, maybe. But then I was like, what if then I create something large? Okay, this is the next point. If I create something large and I'm sitting on it, then what do I do? It's like, I'd be tempted to then swap it for something else that may not hurt the price of the thing that I like. And then maybe I could even provide LP, which could earn something else, which also you probably wouldn't hurt the thing that I like, you know? I could be wrong in that theory, but I'll see how it plays out. But I won't be able to tell because I could be doing that in some way. I could come and pump the price to the moon, and then some other way I could sell the price to the depths of hell. You know, and vice versa, just up down, up down, up down. Yeah, I think I'll close on that. It's good to know the front running pirates are out. Oh man, Lord help us all. The computers, eh? Refresh. Yeah, see, I think I think the price is down from what it was a few days ago, and I think that because lots of people sold, and whether or not it was a narrative created, which allowed people to sell, which allowed people to take advantage and by stealth exit without letting what took place, or was it purely that it was weak hands that got scared and that happened? It was a combination of both. Who knows? Or is it just the fact that there was less buyers than there was sellers, regardless of what position they held prior? It's going to come to a point, I think, when people get that large in the system, that that volatility saying comes into play. It's like, people will make that much fucking money, they'll probably sell, and then you'll see the price get murdered. And it's like, well, that sucks, but that could take place. But then as the price goes higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, it might not, and the pools get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, it might not affect as much. That's what I'm thinking. Because yeah, I'm not sure if someone could do mad sales on Bitcoin right now if you had a shit ton of it. Like, would it affect it much? Don't know. Do not know. Yeah, that's right. That yeah, that's what I thought when that tweet came out. I was just like, okay, whatever, doesn't matter. Then I saw the reaction of, I don't know, it was the perceived reaction. I'm like, I thought we didn't care because I thought staking, mining, burning, running code, and it matters when your position comes out. So if on that day you had a huge fucking, a huge a minting process taking place, you might have been like, fuck. But then you would have been like, fuck, because I don't know if it was because people removed the LP and then they were emergency end staking. We know they were emergency end staking because we saw the only way I know that was because I saw the the stats, the daily T-share payout from emergency end staking. I was like, wow, that was large. What the hell? Yeah, and that's why I think I don't have much else to enter into the system, because I guess the majority is already sitting there, so it's not like you can exit and come back in. So I was thinking, well, I'll make these little baby stakes, I'll plant some seeds. I'll plant a row of seeds and watch them grow. Then I'll plant another row of seeds and watch them grow. Then I'll plant another row, depending on the season, if I still can. And then, when they start to grow, they won't all harvest at the same time. So some catastrophic weather event takes place. Maybe some of them get saved. And then I'll slowly start to harvest them as they become due. And I'm going to decide what to do with them. Am I going to fucking sell them to the open market? Am I going to let them go to seed and reuse them to grow more? Because then, you might expand your block of land and decide to redo it the next year. Or am I going to eat them, consume them? Who knows? Maybe do a combination of all of them. But that is the stream, I think, people. Yeah, that's just my thoughts. I think I covered a fair bit of what I thought was a good move. Like I said, my only flaw, I would say, that I perceived as a flaw was I got really bored around day 200 or so and sold a large amount of Pulsechain because I was like, this is not doing much for me. I can't see it move, like I couldn't see it instantly mooning overnight. So I decided, let's deploy over to the ink farm, see how that goes. That started performing okay, and I decided to, well, maybe, and that sort of, that was like the that was the thing that got me into liquidity providing. I then decided to slowly deploy, slowly deploy. And to be honest, when a hex stake comes out now, like a larger one, not from the new seeds I'm sowing, I'm starting to think about providing LP for Pulse and Hex, or stake it out. It's maybe do a combination of both, but I thought maybe get some exposure to that one of those ones on one of a wallet somewhere. Maybe, just maybe, that might be an okay play. Puts it in a bit of hedge, Hex moons, Pulse moons. I'm sure everyone's already thought of this, but hopefully that was either interesting, because boy, it was, you could pick it to pieces, which is fine, critique it, which is fine. But yeah, that's just some thoughts from me. I don't think there's anything else. But yeah, I think that last comment was it's like relevant. Doesn't matter what time, it doesn't matter what prices are. It's number of tokens you have, because at the top of the bull market, when I exit, bring on the FUD. That is to get fresh dry powder every other Friday. Well, that's what I was thinking, set a day aside, buy something, sit on it, see what happens. Then in the future, go, this is why I did this. This is why, Oh, yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Personally, I mean, it's not good, the prices that they're depressed, but I'm not really too fast, to be honest. Like I said, when stakes come out, I just gotta maneuver in a way that seems is profitable. If you have LP positions, if I had them, I'd just be monitoring them to make sure I understand what I'm doing, and maybe validating might be pretty cool eventually once the Pulsechain kicks off, because then you'll be like, thank fuck I've got this validator. And yeah. I don't know if I regret selling some of my Pulsechains, man. I knew I was gonna regret doing it. I'm like, I gotta do something. I was getting itchy trigger finger. I'm like, no, I gotta fucking press a button. I gotta press a button. I just sold it. It's fucking, I don't know if I regret it. It's not too bad though. Probably the only, but yeah, overall, I could overall net, I'm still up, including the bonuses and shit. I would say easily. So I was pretty fucking impressed. Wow, pat myself on the back. Good done. Good work. But yeah, like I said, that's just me. I hope everyone else is like that as well. Hopefully they're not like emergency end staking and fucking panicking for no reason because they're jittery. But yeah. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, 7-9. What do we got? Let's have a look. Refresh. This could be a full-time job too, just doing this fucking arguing the fucking. Ooh, 7-8. Ooh. What do we got? Imagine that would be interesting. Would it be? Would LP pools from different chains be interesting on like paired? Can that even work? I don't know. I think that's what I tried to look at. I tried to look at a pair between, say, different like Arbitrum. Imagine an Arbitrum USDC over on Pulsechain. That would be interesting. I'm not sure that would work because L2. Not sure it's possible. I guess. No, it wouldn't work, would it? Unless it's a representation of it by another bridge. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I don't think I really want to critique the Pulsechain fucking shit because I think it's very good. Don't listen to me. Do not listen to me, I swear. I like what it's doing. I like how I can arbitrage through different chains. I do like how I can bridge in from Arbitrum and then get Pulse, on here, and then if I want to access it. Because I haven't got the big giant if I had big giant ETH bags, it wouldn't matter. Bridge it in. So not sure why that is. I guess it's good because it's locking up. When you look at it, it's good because it's locking up the value from Ethereum over on Pulsechain. So if you want to access it, you can, and you do it on fucking pennies, like literally pennies, less than pennies, fraction of pennies on the dollar. So that's kind of a positive. I think if you went to different other chains, L2s, maybe sure that would work. It's like sort of then it's like what happened with the fucking everyone's profits and LPs and everything got spread thinner, you know. Oh, that's not too bad. So 100 USDC on ETH, so a stable equivalent is 10,000 cheaper, like less, but because you have to pay all the ETH fees, you could be saving money because you go through Arbitrum, get the USDC from someone with Arbitrum, send it across, get the Pulse, get the same amount. The fees on Arbitrum would be, say, however much they are, and then say 10,000 Pulse yields. Let's have a look. No, not 10,000. $1.26. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe I check out Change Now then. Change Now is not looking too bad. Yeah. Well, that's what, to me, that's what is a good, like, is it a good thing? I don't know if I can say it's definitely a good thing. Everything is like negative. It's like, but if you're looking for opportunities to purchase and you get paid at different intervals, then maybe an opportunity presents itself. Like I'm personally, I think it's an opportunity. If I was a gambling man, I would say chances are if you bought now in the future, there's a statistically there's a statistic that would maybe imply that it could be higher. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it could be statistically possible. That sounds so retarded. Oh. Basically, I'll rephrase, rewind. If I was a gambling man, the odds would be high, I would say. The odds would be low. Odds might be low, that the price could go higher. There's a million different ways to say that. I think you guys know what I'm saying. But again, could be wrong, I think maybe it drops again. But like how much more can people sell? How much have they sold already? What did they do with it? Where did it go? Want to like a different farm or went to oh, I guess everything's dropping else around Bitcoin, Ethereum, the halving's coming up. Maybe the ETF for Ethereum. Ooh. And it's been really weird how the Bitcoin hit a new all-time high before the halving. So maybe it's like got pricing early, but then they reckon the supply shock's kicking in 6 months. And then at that point in time, if there's supply shock, then usually that would increase the price even further. And if it's already sitting at all-time highs, it could fucking skyrocket shit. Not instantly, but slowly as the purchases keep coming through. Maybe we see that with HEX as well later on. Maybe we see it with Ink. Pulse. Trying to think of the use case for Pulse other than being mad cheap and a new L1 and hugely new. And usually new L1's fucking moon hard purely through speculation half the time. But then it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then we have Pulsex, which is like the best version of, like, it's a better version of like all the dexes. It provides higher yield as well, and it burns as well, But yeah, I don't know. People want other shiny shit. I don't know. Rubik Exchange. Shit. It's like everything's dying. I have a great plan. Put it into fiat. It's like, hang on. Shouldn't it be the other way round? Shouldn't it be like, if one thing INC is kind of, I think INC is kind of showing you like how to take profits. I don't know if that sounds weird, but because when you're taking the profits, you know, you're sort of locking in any amount of potential. Like, I think it's pretty sure it's income everywhere because it's like reward. And then, like, it's kind of saying, well, it's just sitting there. But if you wait too long, it could be really large. But if it's smaller and spread across multiple farms, you can take smaller bits as you need it potentially. You could even set them up to be like a staking, like a equivalent of a staking ladder. Imagine having 10 different pools, and it's like one every 10 days, I guess, after a few cycles, or once every 5 days after a few cycles, and that shit build up, and you know, play with some magical numbers. It looked pretty cool. But yeah, putting it into fiat, I'm not sure it's a good idea. You know, I think I took some out ink, put it into fiat. I saw some low prices. I'm like, this makes no sense to in fiat. I might put it in here because it might go up, you know. But the thing is, if you're only getting income from crypto, it's like you're just playing with the same numbers. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's reaching people which it could help. So I'm hoping that maybe if I do an example of, you know, something as silly as small as gig economy work into something like HEX or cryptocurrency in general, and then it plays out, maybe other people will be like, oh, it worked for that guy. Maybe I try a similar thing. I don't know. And eventually they've come around to discovering what Pulsechain is. Anyway, that's stuff we rambling. We'll check out what's Rubik Exchange. Rubik, is it Rubik.exchange? Rubik, never heard of it. Rubik. Ooh. Is it the one that's like a green cube, possibly? What the fuck is this? Mev bot protection, MEV bot protection. I like already. So I reckon this one. Maybe I'll give that one a save. I won't connect it to it now, but Rubik.exchange. Stablecoin pools on my savings account, dry powder reserve. Stablecoin pools. Yeah, that's right. and they prove, yeah, very good point. I find also I'm kind of strange. I'll forget I have shit. Like literally, I'll like, well, maybe not the LP pools, but I'll be like, oh yeah, I had this shit. Well, it'll feel like I forgot it, and then I'll go back and be like, oh, well, if I was to, you know, if this was a savings account, I need some savings. It's just sitting there. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's one way I look at it. Ooh, what is this? Rubik. Look at trading incentives. You earn free. Ah, nice. You earn trade incentives. What's every second? Oh, he's got revoke approval. That's kind of cool. Is it, would it be stats, you reckon? Or do you have to connect and then? Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, good point. And if it was a similar rate or same rate, maybe it's a way in. This is what I'm saying. I was like, I've been away from this space and just focused in like only on like XYZ. And I'm crying because I can't find any tools out there. And I look around, I'm like, holy fuck, there's like assuming it's safe, reliable, and doesn't wreck you, because that's some weird backdoor shit. But you know, there's a lot of stuff out there. Like I was fascinated with the other chains, like versions of stables and bridges available to be able to do that. That was very useful. You know, it saved me a lot. If this is the same thing, and maybe get some like rewards from doing swaps cross chain, that will be. What would it be? Let's have a look. What a mistake. Oh my god, my back is so wrecked. Kind of want to connect, but I'll do it off stream. Tools. GameFi. I haven't even looked at all that. That's interesting. Is this built like by a fucking? Because it's like I saw some familiar names. Ooh. Well, I saw like Power City. I thought I saw. What's Heartbridge? Is that the fuck is this, bro? Bro. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, there's so much out there. Yeah, this shit's already hooked up with like, you know, Kraken and. Ooh. But that's what it was like. It was like piecing together the puzzle of how to be able to like sync up everything. Slowly, I'm learning more and more. Thank you, Tintop. Very cool. Ah, yeah, swapped. Maximize profits from crypto swapping. A comprehensive guide. The fuck is that, Pepe Rat? What do you earn? What do you see? And then you could swap the RBC into Pulsechain. Then you could buy some more HEX. Have you used this one? It seems pretty legit. I mean, if I do connect the wallet, it'd be a like throwaway anyway. Very cool. Shit. I mean, why not at this point? If you are going to bring in capital from outside anyway, and you're looking for the most efficient way in, and you don't really want to play with Ethereum anymore, you can go through other other routes. This could be one of them. Nice. Nice. I'll be back in a minute. No, I'm kidding. Oh man, that's kind of cool. All right, well, I'll close it out here. And I'll add this to my saves, and I will check out some of the rates over here. And then I'll check out as many ways onto this onto Pulsechain as possible. Yeah, nice, cool. Yeah, thanks, Tom. Yeah, I'll wrap this one up. All right, so yeah, everyone, listen to Tintop. Moral of the story: free speech, signing out.